Number 4, and number 4 is an offshoot of number 3. Number 4 is young people are so disrespectful. My God. And nothing pains me like disrespect in this my life, eh? Too many young people are so disrespectful. You can make your point without being rude. You will call somebody that, if not for education, you would have given birth to them. You know, education is part of our problem. Education takes some good childbearing years away from you. So if you are still giving birth at maybe 13 or 14, there are some people that can't be talking to you. You will tell them something, the way they will even answer you. You have a staff who is on that one, you will tell them something, they will be frowning face. You have a face to frown, really? Really? When I was growing up, when they talk to you, say, yes, sir, yes, ma. And when you even want to talk, you know, these days, even when they want to tell you something, when they even say with all due respect, I can guarantee you that the insult that is coming after it. In my time, your boss can't be talking, be shouting anyhow. As what? Who are you? Who are you? So disrespectful. And like I said before, I think it's because of this social media thing. So you know, social media, it doesn't allow us to say uncle. So if you want to talk to somebody older than you on social media, you write at Mildred. It's not going to be at uncle, pastor. No, it will be at. So that thing has removed respect. It has removed the culture of respect that we have. And listen, it's not everything that we can take from the Western world. They may know some things, I guarantee, but family life, they don't know it. Our culture teaches us some things. So your parents are talking to you, as how? I remember growing up, my mom would beat the living daylights out of you. And it reconstructed my brain. Even now, if my mother is talking to me, I can't dare not answer her back. But this generation, you talk to them, they ask you everything, they talk to you anyhow, they answer you anyhow. Listen, the seeds you are sowing today are seeds you will reap tomorrow. You know, I'm so concerned because if we do not deal with these things now, I fear for the next generation. I fear for the generation that this generation will raise. I'm so scared for the generation that this generation will raise. If now, before you tell them to do anything, go and sweep that parlor, they'll say, why? Because I said so. Why? Really? When I was growing up, my mother said, because I said so. You know that the next thing after that is slap. So you don't wait to know if there's any answer after I said so. You said so, you say, yes, mommy, and you carry broom. And after sweeping, you mop, before they come and tell you to mop. But not this generation. Everything is disrespect. Everything is fight. People come on social media. You will put something on your page, not their page. They will come there and advise you. And when you say, oh, but this is then they will insult you. And when you go and look at their age, you will see it's a 15-year-old that is telling you that you are 55, that you don't have sense. And even if you want to make your point, can't you make it politely? So I'm not trying to negate the fact that, young people can be intelligent, but there must be respect. Even if you're making your point, be respectful. If they're telling you, if you're asking for something, be respectful. It's not your right. It's not your right. So that's the next mistake they make, being disrespectful. Never despise people that helped you get ahead. You know, that's part of the respect. If you look at the story of Esther, Esther was raised by Mordecai. She was an orphan girl. She was raised by Mordecai. And Mordecai raised her and then helped her get to the palace. She became queen. Now, the interesting thing I noticed about Esther is that even after Esther became queen, now you must understand that by the time she became queen, it means that she became queen even over her uncle. But the Bible says that every morning her uncle would come and check on her and he would give her advice and she would listen. That was the reason why she had a habit of listening to him. That's why he knew that when they made that law that they were going to kill all Jews, that he could send a message to her and say, Esther, they're about to kill us. You go to your husband and save your people. And she said, first of all, go and give my uncle clothes. Let him change. Why is he in ash clothes? She was making noise. He said, if you don't do this thing, salvation will come from somewhere else, but your house will be destroyed. She obeyed him even at the risk of dying. Because there was a law that if the king didn't send for you, you went to the king, you would be killed. Even at the risk of losing her life. She said, if I perish, I perish. Let me obey my uncle. I'm going to do this thing. Because some people don't remember that it was also obedience to her uncle. It wasn't just about saving her people. She could have been in that palace and she could have been safe. Nobody would have known because she never told anybody she was a Jew. But it was the reverence and the honor she had for her uncle that she said, let me obey this man by going at the risk of my life. They say, your parents say you should go to school. You say, no. No, I know what I'm doing. You know what you are doing. You don't want to obey them. Simple to go and read book. You don't want to obey them. They didn't say you should go and die. What they're asking you to do is for your own good, not even for the good of the entire world. For your own good. You say you know what you're doing. I know they don't get me. They don't get me. Like they don't really get me. Like I'm way ahead. Things moving faster in my generation. If without our generation, would there be your generation? The next mistake, forgetting that knowledge is progressive. And this one makes me laugh. Because you think you know it all now. You've forgotten that there was a time where the only knowledge that was available was the knowledge that came from this generation or from the generation before you. So you think that you know it all, forgetting that there will be a generation after you who also know more than you. So don't despise the knowledge that is available to you. You know, that scripture I read before, it says, don't stealthily move back the boundary lines. And you know, that's the funny thing. There have been boundaries that have been set, but because you think you know, you are moving it back with style. So feminism has crept in. And feminism probably started out right. But now some people have hijacked it. They say women can do everything a man can do. I agree. But should we? Just because you can, should you? Just because a woman can marry a woman, should we? Just because a woman can carry all the bills in the family, should we? And then we complain about men being spoiled and laid back. The men are not doing anything because the men have been neutered. You have taken all the responsibility. And if he doesn't pay the bills, I'll pay it. I don't have time for nonsense. I have time for nonsense. It is part of my responsibility to have time for his nonsense. I will sit with him till he works hard and pays that bill. I will be there till he gets it. I don't need any man to tell me I'm sorry. I don't need any man to me. I have time. That's all I have in this life, time. Once you have chosen to marry, you have time. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't fight to be everything you should be. I'm not saying you shouldn't fight to be paid the same thing a man is paid if you are doing the same job. But there's a place this thing ends. So we're teaching our daughters that dress like men is okay. Trousers are not only for men. And I agree. Absolutely agree. But then we now complain about them being transgender when they grow up tomorrow. We're worried that when we're pushing the daughters to be great, our sons are wondering what's happening to me. So maybe I need to wear a dress. Maybe I need to wear makeup. And we're complaining that they're transgender today. And we're saying, God forbid. We are creating monsters. We're creating monsters without even knowing it. I have no problem with knowledge. I have no problem with us moving forward. But we must be careful not to remove what God has laid. Because I hear a lot of women complaining, my husband doesn't pay any bills. How did you start? How did you start? When you were dating, you go out. You don't want him to, no, we're equal. So the man doesn't have to pay the bills. I agree. He doesn't have to. But he should. So we go out. He invited me out. He should pay. Yes. Because when I enter marriage now, I will bring him money too. Since I got married, I don't think my husband even knows whether they buy children's clothes or they buy children anything. But there are large bills he's paying. And if he doesn't have, I will give him. I have no issues with that. But is there anything wrong with being a woman? Is there anything wrong with being feminine? Is there anything wrong with being taken care of? Did they swear for you? Why exactly? Why exactly don't you want to be spoiled? Me, I don't, Hey, my husband wants to spoil me, by all means he should. My husband himself doesn't even have power for those things. I'm sitting down on him. You will have power. Spoil me. They did not swear for me. I'm not I don't know the word. My mother says Jackie. I don't know whether it has English definition, but Jackie, you know Jackie, people that like work. I'm not. Yes, I'm created to help, not to take over. So there are some boundaries, there's some things that have been laid down. Don't think you know it or ask questions. Hey, this generation, God. This generation, you have to ask questions. Don't think, and I don't even know why all this self-imposed, I need to, you're not proving a point to anybody by thinking you know it all. If you don't know, ask. Somebody has done this job for years. Somebody has gone ahead of you. I know how to ask questions. So that's why my life is easy. I will call. I ask up, I ask down. I ask people that the younger people that are working with me. I ask my husband. I ask older ministers. Please, how have you done this thing? How have you managed? The other day I was dealing with mommy guilt. Because a lot of times my husband and I are together, so we're traveling a lot. I'm either writing a book, I'm counseling people. So at some point I started feeling like I rarely even see my children. And I still feel like, am I really investing enough time in them, or am I pouring into other people? I'm raising other people's children. I don't have time at home, and I was feeling a bit guilty about it. And then I remember that we had a meeting with Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo. It was my 40th birthday, and so my husband took me to him at that, and then he said, oh, he wanted to see me and pray for me. So he said, do I have any questions? I asked him anything in this world. I said, okay, so I have only one question. How do you deal with you raising your children, feeling like you're not there for them? He smiled, and then he said one thing. Hey, God. One thing that rescued me for the rest of my life. You'll be amazed. That thing you are struggling is one thing that older person you have despised will tell you, that will change your life. Mentors are so important. You can't live life with them. Young people, you need mentors. You need mentors. I don't care how much you know. You still need someone to help you put it all together. Somebody will help you put it together. It's like saying that, oh, because I pushed a child, I don't need my mother to come for Mugo. What? You have no clue. When you come out from that hospital and they hand you the baby like this, you first be confused. You don't know where to hold baby. Then bath baby how? You don't even know how to when your mother comes in, like if your mother is a mother, it's not a millennial too. If your mother comes in and she takes over, when she carries that baby, there's a way they will press the child, the child will mold. My children had figure 8 from small. My mother will mold, pull the nose, like you would know, and you would rest because she would take over sometimes. That's what having a mentor does for you. You will not struggle. So I was saying, I went to him and I asked him this question, and he said to me, quality over quantity. I said, sir? He said, quality over quantity. Every time you spend time with your children, make sure it is quality time. Play with them, ride bicycles with them, do fun things. He said, build memories. Children never remember the clothes you bought for them. Children never really remember whether you were with them all the time. They remember major milestones. So if you took them to Disney World, for instance, children will never forget that. If you taught them how to ride a bicycle, children will never forget that. If you teach your child how to bake a cake, they will never forget that. They will never forget it. They always remember the things that you spend time doing. He says, so anytime you are around, make it so impactful that they don't even remember when you are not around. It sets me free. One word of advice, set me free. Something I've been carrying for months and thinking, hey, then I will not be tempted to, hey, maybe I should buy them more gifts when I'm coming back. No. He said quality. And you won't believe it. Small things like my husband riding bicycle with them, but those things make all the difference. Makes all the difference. Just dancing with them in the room, you'll be amazed. It makes all the difference. So don't forget that. Don't get to the point where you think that you know more than everyone else. Knowledge is progressive. A generation is coming too that will know more than you. So don't despise those that you know, that you have. Maybe you have a new idea. In your generation was there was Facebook, but now things have changed. There's TikTok, there's this, there's that. Thank you. But if you did not start with Facebook, you will not be here TikToking. You will not be here with Thriller and all the other many things you will have. Okay? So knowledge, don't forget that knowledge is progressive.